The first time that I heard about two lesbians having a dating app helping men, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. But when I heard your story, it really dropped in for me, and I really understood the power and importance of what you guys are doing.
Amigas are the women friends you wish you always had, but available anytime you need. We were completely blown away by the number of women from all over the world who are like, I want to help men.
Is it true that women don't like sex?
It's so hard for anyone to figure out right now what is normal. What does a normal human look like? How does a normal human behave?
Yeah.
What's
normal in
when
a
you
relationship?
come together?
Yeah.
If I'm a guy, I basically have two options. Pickup artist or, sort of
Married.
bored husband.
Even though they're not doing the work, they're holding on to a bunch of stuff that is eating them up inside.
Yeah.
And causing damage in their relationships and causing disconnect from
Amigas in terms of global mission. And one is to close the gender gap, which is a big issue for us. And the second one is...
Hello and welcome to my podcast, the Adam Riley Podcast, where I'll be interviewing experts and interesting people from around the world with the intention of helping men, including myself, thrive in the modern world of dating, sex, and relationships. Make sure to subscribe and let's go. I'm very excited for this interview. This is a really special interview to me because you ladies represent something that's very close to my heart. So this channel is about dating and relationships, specifically helping men in dating, myself included, to be fair. And my secret desire is to have women on board. So, meaning that women would be on men's side, championing them to succeed, and that men would do the same for women, and that we become each other's greatest allies. So this may sound like kind of pie in the sky stuff in the modern day, but I feel like that's exactly what you ladies are doing with your project, Amigas, which is why I love it so much and why I wanted to talk to you today. Now, I have to be honest, the first time that I heard about two lesbians having a dating app helping men, an app that helps men in dating, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. But when I heard your story, when I heard your story, it really dropped in for me, and I really understood the power and importance of what you guys are doing. So, yeah, I really love it, and I think it's exactly what the world needs more of. So I'm very excited to talk with you guys today about it. Thanks so much for coming, Cynthia and Imogen. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having us here today. We're very happy and honored to be here with such a beautiful topic and intention that you have for this channel. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So I would love to hear, I already have heard your story, but I would love to hear again how this all got started. So you guys have this, it's an app that you've created.
Yes.
When I first heard the dating app, I thought of like Tinder or something like that, but it's not like that. It's an app where guys who are struggling with dating can reach out and have an Amiga. So an Amiga being a friend, a female friend that can support them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, does that summarize pretty well what you guys do?
Well,
or?
I can adjust a little bit. So we're the founder of Amigas, and Amigas means female friend in Spanish and Portuguese as well. And what Amigas does is relationship advice for men from women. So we're not a dating app, but we are a platform for men to come and feel seen, heard, and understood by women who are going to hold them a safe space. We provide a safe space so men can troubleshoot anything about relationship and dating via one-on-one conversations, text message anonymously and non-judgmental, right? From a real human being on the other side.
Yeah, it's a place for guys who wanted or needed to get a sort of mentoring. So we like to say that Amigas are the women friends you wish you always had, but available, anytime you need. And that you can also be able to get a woman's perspective on something, right? Like, how many times have we in our lives been there for our guy friends, no matter if they were 18 or in their 60s, just going, she said this, like, what do you think that really means? Or, I got confused because I thought I was really clear about this and she saw it another way. Or even just having someone to go, mate, like, you're doing really great at the moment. Like, I'm here for you. And that thing that happened, like, that's disappointing, and I get that for you, and like I'm gonna hold you through that.
Yeah, like it's Amigas are not there, just to provide advice on what you want to achieve, but also to say that it's okay to go through bad times, right? Because everybody does. No one's here to disguise that life is just going to be roses. It's not. So the importance of having a friend to celebrate your wins, but also to be there when you're lost and to be there when you're lost. It's for us, I think, where we're bringing Amigas in is this connection of women and men as well, right? Because there are silent groups of women help women, no doubt about it. Men help men, no doubt about it. But women helping men, it happens a lot, but we created Amigas for men that don't have that directly around their group of direct
social circle
or a nervous talk to women, all of that.
Or maybe they don't have the privacy, right? Like we see a lot of customers who come to Amigas and they may be married for a while, but they can't necessarily talk to a woman friend about their relationship because maybe that friend is friends with their wife and they want to respect the privacy of that relationship. Or people are also busy. It's not always easy to get someone caring and kind and thoughtful on the phone for 30 minutes or an hour or more who's going to...
And you cannot talk about your own.
And also an objective point of view,
Yes.
Sometimes that's really useful. Someone from the outside is able to go, okay, I hear you.
I'm not part of your
It sounds
life.
like this could be happening. I can relate. That happened to me. That happened to my brother. That I see that in my friends. Here's some ideas for how you could be thinking about it. Or we're here to plug what we think is a bit of a hole in the social dating relationship space where you mentioned dating apps, and it doesn't surprise me that you might have thought that we were offering a dating app because there are so many of them, right? There's like 6,000 dating apps now in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that could be great, right? Increasing opportunities to meet people, but then what's there to help people make the most of those opportunities, or to be able to maintain strong relationships. I really believe that great relationships take a village. That behind every strong partnership is a team of people, kind of behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Friends, family, allies, teachers, mentors, therapists, who are there holding those people together and guiding them through the tough times. And I recognize that, not everyone has that village easily available. And so we created Amigas hoping that we can
provide part of the village.
Part of that village
Yes.
for anyone who needs.
That was part of the idea of Amigas, is to create this.
Yes, absolutely.
Be part of the village.
So I want to also address how you started introducing us. Why two lesbians and a couple are out there to help straight men find love and better understand women and get help from women, right? So at first, it sounds like the weirdest idea in the world. But then if you stop to think about it, we go through the same journey, right? So people ask, why are you not helping this or that? So, well, first I can relate a lot to straight men because, I've been through breakups with women. I've been, flirting and dating women that didn't care about me. I've done it all. So I have the same emotional journey.
Yeah,
right?
this was one of the best things when we talked that made it really drop in for me, because
Yeah.
I was like, you said it and it just I went click. I'm like, yes, because it's, you are a woman, so you have the experience, you know what it feels like to be a woman,
Yeah.
but you're also dating women, so you
Yes.
know what it's like to date women.
Well-
You're having the same issues in a way as men have,
Exactly.
because you're also dating women, so you're kind of on both sides of it, which is, you know, a very unique perspective, and I think that's super valuable.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing that nobody puts together. They think there's a world apart between lesbians and straight men. I said, I'm sorry, but we are more connected than everybody else. Like, we really can hold hands and understand each other. That's not to say that all amigas are from the queer community. They're not, because we did some research and men said, I want to hear from women no matter what.
Diverse perspective.
Exactly. I want all women's perspectives. But that's how it started, this affinity with understanding your journey, our journey, but having the ability to translate and give you a little bit of more context into why women behave or think this way or that, give more perspective. And also to tell you that not every woman thinks the same way. So Amigas is, the whole point of Amigas is you come in and you ask the same question to 5 different women. And you might get 5 different answers, but what you will learn is that you're not going to be judged, so you don't feel shame. You're going to be, you're going to feel safe and be held with kindness. And you're going to learn a lot about women that other people are not talking about, because you're going to have one-on-one personal conversations, right? And that's the whole point, is to be fun, lighthearted, troubleshoot. We'll talk even about intimacy, talk about anything.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So that, like, just bringing that all together, you guys, I love the analogy of being a community behind a relationship. Because obviously we hear about that for children, like they say it takes a community to raise a child, kind of thing. So it's an interesting twist on it, that it takes a community to raise a couple, a relationship, to support a relationship. And I think that's something that I will contemplate on, in the future. And then inside your app, they're getting that guys get that because they're not just talking to one Amiga necessarily. Once they enter into your ecosystem, they have the opportunity to talk to different Amigas, different women with different experiences, because it's not necessarily that one of them's going to have all the answers, but if you start to have a few different opinions, you can start, for a guy who's very logical, you can start to correlate, and figure out what's the probable best move or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll give you some use case. And first, I want to go back to how it works. So anyone come in and then ask a question. So just to make sure, we are very early. Startup mode. Yeah. So we are testing the
people
concept.
People are going to want this.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Be like, come on, when is this?
I hope so. And
the wait list is open. We're running small pilots where we've done 2 pilots already. So every time we take some learnings, improve things, and then open the next wave.
Yes.
Because the way we're doing this, we want to really make sure we're doing it with as much thought and care as possible. And it's
we're not rushing.
With a lot of research, and we have very beautiful relationships with our first customers who are feeding back a lot. But just so everyone's aware, this is early days.
It's very early days, and we love contribution from men and women. And so the way it works, you come in and then you ask a question. It's very basic. Like, you ask a question, you choose a topic. So it goes from first date. Romantic ideas, sexual intimacy, want to talk about, anything, break up, and you choose your topic. And the Amiga on the other side has chosen the topics that she's available to talk about. She has experience in, and she's comfortable bringing, to the table, and holding a man through that situation. So then they get matched, and then you only will see like the top 5 amigas that from the topic you chose to answer your question, and then you read their bios. Then you choose the amiga you want to talk to. Then you go in a private conversation, and at the end, you review each other. So we also keep a quality system, and when next time you come in, you can read other people's review on each amiga and see, oh, wow, okay, she was really good at breakup, apparently. So now other guys were like, felt it was worth it, so I'm going there as well. So that's a kind of use cases, like.
And talking about the being able to get the right perspective, we saw something really beautiful happen almost organically where, and also I really want to get across, right, for anyone listening, you would not believe the number of women who want to be amigas.
Oh, yes. Oh,
like,
my God.
We were completely blown away by the number of women from all over the world who are like, I want to help men. I want to be there for men. I want to show up for men. I want to, do what I can to guide them, listen to them, support them in any way. So if you're a guy listening to this, I really hope you feel how much love and support there is out there for you, because we did one single LinkedIn post, back in summer last year as a sort of test. And we had over 100 women around the world signing up.
Signing up for
saying,
to
I'm
be an
interested
amiga.
in being an amiga.
And we never ran ads for them, right? And they talk to their friends talk to their friends, and they keep coming. Like every month we still get amigas.
This is incredible. Like, you guys have found something so important, because, what you're saying is, well, I really believe it. Like, men could really use this. Like, a lot of guys are alone. They don't feel like women are on their side.
Yeah.
They so they don't have in their social circle somebody that they can come to, or that they feel like they can come to. So I can totally get like the need for men and the value in it for men, but then saying also that there's all these women that want to support men, and then how do they do that? How do they connect? They won't. They won't connect.
They are already helping in their circle of friends or family, but like if they want to extend their reach to help more men that they don't know, it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
There's no platform to connect that specific dynamics.
And that's the thing. I think actually what Amigas is doing is quite simple.
Very
it's just
simple.
structuring and putting, a system behind something that's been happening.
Yeah.
Forever, right?
Right, something that's very natural.
Women mentoring men about, emotional things, relationships, people, women.
Holding space for men.
But it's often happening, private and, hidden away, and it's not, not always reliable, and not every guy has the access he might need. So we just want to democratize access to that. And make
access to kindness.
Make sure that we train and shepherd these amigas to be able to deliver a consistently high level of mentoring, and be there for the guys when they need it.
Yeah, that's great. And it just came to my mind that I think I'm not a relationship expert, but I feel like often in relationships, the man, it's not ideal for him to come directly to his partner sometimes with some of his issues. Like he sometimes would need to talk to somebody else that to brainstorm things and to come back already with his ideas more formed. I don't know, like, do you get what I mean with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see the value this in many subjects, like you go and gather more information, but even when you're talking about they want to come and express something to their partners, what is the best way she's going to receive? If you can test it first with different ones, come on, it's a win-win.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it comes back to that village idea, right?
Yeah.
Because the truth is like in our relationship, we have our communal friends, and then we all have our own personal friends, and those friends they know all about us and all about our relationship. You know, it becomes a sort of running joke where they're like, oh, do you remember that time when you had this and blah, 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 and I was on the phone for you for 4 hours? You know, we can laugh about it now, but that is the reality of, I think, what it really takes to make a strong relationship. And yeah, sometimes when you have a conversation or an issue that feels really charged, that feels really heavy, that's really, you know, has a lot of emotion riding on it, absolutely, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, I think that it is a good idea to explore that, untangle it a bit, just express with someone else. Could be a friend, could be a therapist, could be a stranger on the airplane, right?
Yeah, we do that.
We've also all been there where we've just opened up to and I think
I listen to a lot
that
of
phenomenon is also why I think Amigas has been having the effect that it is, like cathartically, is sometimes opening, because when you come on the Amigas app, it's a texting-based conversation. So, you know, a customer, he might want to choose a username, doesn't have to use his real name. He doesn't have to put a photo, and he can open up to a safe stranger in a pretty anonymous space. And, you know, if he doesn't ever want to chat with her again, doesn't have to, you know. And so I think as human beings, we do all need those safe spaces where we're able to open up to someone who doesn't have any stakes in the game and can just be like a neutral witness or observer for us.
Even just for us to hear ourselves out loud, right? Because sometimes we talk and it's like, actually, you don't need to say anything. I just already figure it out, you know, by myself.
Sometimes you need to even figure out how you feel about something.
Yeah.
You know, oh, this is actually not such a big deal. Or actually, this is a way bigger deal than I thought. Now I want to take this really seriously.
Yes.
And so I think Amigas, our Amigas can play so many different roles for different people.
There's another one that's really, really interesting. So during these pilots, what happened was we realized there's a lot of guys, for example, we did in UK and a bit of America, that they wanted to meet some girls, or they were dating girls from different nationalities, right?
Cultures.
And cultures. So inside Amigas, they looked for someone with like a Latin background that could explain a bit about that culture, because like I'm interested. So, but you know, I never been approached that way before. Is it me? Is it her? And it's like this. It's not about having a problem, really. It's about give me more information so I can be the best partner I can be.
Understanding the other culture. 'Cause
Absolutely.
they're hugely different
That's gold
cultures.
if you talk to someone that's there to,
that's smart.
like, right?
And even in our second pilot, we had 21 Amigas, and they were from 7 different countries.
Yes.
And some of them
Small,
spoke
but
several
big.
languages. And we also had Amigas who are, monogamous, who have been married for a long time, or single by choice, or divorced, or, polyamorous. And so there was such a diversity of experience and perspective available.
That's great.
Even in this tiny group. And we realized, sort of accidentally, here is a really interesting niche for us to serve, right? Because there's a lot of information online, like a lot of information, but sometimes you want to get to a level of nuance that you're not going to be able to find on Instagram or on TikTok or ChatGPT or maybe even in your relationship counselor or therapist's office, where sometimes you just need to have a short conversation with
another human being
who can speak from that specific background, language, culture, whatever it is. And again, without judgment and without,
You don't need to feel like a fool. You'll ask all the dumb questions. That's what it's for.
Right. I would like to ask, what, you've already mentioned a few things, but do you see, I guess, what were you expecting guys to come with? What kind of problems were you expecting guys to come with? And then what kind of problems did guys actually come with?
Oh, okay.
Was there a shift there where you learned something?
We learned so much.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing is our business model, at least, at the beginning was Short troubleshooting conversations, maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah,
You
but
wanna say something?
what we expected for them to come in with ask questions such as, can you help me with my dating profile? What shall I write on my bio? And really like top line like this.
Superficial.
Very,
or like,
very
yeah.
like what, and that's cool, right? Because there's no place
Styles.
for them. Yeah. How do I reply to this message? We thought the deepest one would be, oh, I can't really understand what she meant by those 3
Like
emojis in a row.
Translating what some might call womanese.
That was the expectations, and it's like, oh, troubleshoot that here and there, right?
Yeah.
And we had a lot of those, and we helped them, and they came back with a second question, a third question, and from this first group that was very, very open and went very deep in thought, and like then they wanted to discuss every interaction with women, which was a lot of fun. But the other thing, what we didn't expect in the second pilot, we had a lot of people that sign up. We had a long survey, I don't know why. Oh, we took that out now. And by the end of it, they could ask a question, and we gave the first question for free, and a lot of people got stuck. And we wondered why, right?
Yeah, we're like, is it the app screen order? Is it something wrong?
So wait, this was
Color.
a survey that they had to enter when they come
It's
in?
like a quiz. When you
quiz.
okay.
Okay.
you do a quiz to start, like
Okay.
as a
Just-
game, like a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean,
So we would know a bit about
we
them.
were wondering why a lot of customers were willingly, sharing a lot of information in the app and, showing they were engaged, but then they would never ask their first question. And I reached out to some of them and I asked, is there something holding you back? Can we help in any way? And the responses I got back were all under the theme of, I need this and I want it, but I don't even know where to start.
I have so much to
I don't
ask. I don't know what if I can pick one, which one it is. Like, wow.
Or I don't want to bore my Amiga. I want to be respectful. I don't want to waste her time. It was really, we didn't expect this. Actually.
So much like kindness and
yeah,
from both sides.
And I'd say the other thing that happened is, so there were I would say about a third of the conversations we had in our early pilots were under the vein of questioning things that people see online. So concepts, is it true that women want this? Or how do I become a high-value man?
Yeah.
And what does that actually mean? Is that something that women are looking for?
Wow.
And I thought that was really beautiful. And I
love that they come and ask
loved
that.
that men were feeling safe to come and be able to question or challenge some of these, this sort of like
and
internet
wanted to
wisdom.
challenge to challenge that
Yeah.
too, right? Because a lot of people, the problem is a lot of people just go with it.
What do you
Or like define it, right, for themselves, you know? Like, I think
What does
some
it
of
mean for me?
some of these things we read on the internet, they have some value in them, but you need to make sure that you're applying it for you as an individual in the correct way,
Do you have an example of like one thing where guys were coming in with an idea that was just totally like off that they'd got from the internet?
Can I use some words here? I got a question.
Use whatever words you want.
Okay, maybe. Is it true that women don't like sex? I got that question.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, we don't discuss case by case, and we never name anyone, but like that shocked me in a way. But I was like, first of all, non-judgment. Okay, where are you coming from? Again, like, let's talk about it. But yes, I did not expect that. Things that was one that I really got.
Yeah, and I would say also another thing that I didn't expect was a lot of the conversations that were about people, or actually even in relationships too, dating relationships, there was a theme of negative self-image, body shame, questioning what's normal, what's good enough. And I'm someone who spent many, many years working closely with women on all of these topics in the personal development space. And so I was very fluent in all the ways that women punish themselves, shame themselves, feel they're not good enough, or that their bodies. But I have to admit, even having grown up with many, many male friends and 2 brothers, I was completely unaware of the extent to which men are carrying such feelings of not good enough.
Not
right?
good enough, insecurities.
And I think that this, you know, like sort of dual force of social media. So people are seeing every day just like thousands and thousands of images that are really showing an extreme vision of a tiny percentage of the population when it comes to physical appearance. And then you also have these image-based dating apps, where instead of connecting over shared interests or personalities or values, it's all just photo after photo after photo. And so you're judged on looking the right way, saying the right thing. And we, you know, for me, I was really shocked. I sort of felt the full extent of how much harm this is causing. And I think that, you know, especially talking to other women, I think there's not much awareness of this conversation around body image and self-worth amongst men. You know, which is great, right? We're talking a lot more in the public space about, you know, protecting young women from, you know, those, you know, harmful images and so on, and self-esteem topics. But I was like, this is also happening for men, but we're not talking about it the same way.
It's actually really interesting when you mention that, because it's something that even I haven't really thought about. Well, not entirely, like that men have, I mean, it's obvious. When I think about it now, it's obvious, but it's not talked about that men have body image issues.
Absolutely.
And that...
We had
It's
many conversations in Amigas, basically like, I'm ugly, so blank.
Yeah.
Or, well, you know, is it probably because I'm ugly? And like, ugly,
I'm single because I'm ugly.
This word ugly kept coming up again and again.
Or
and again.
like, if I don't have a six-pack, I'm not, you know, I'm not
not
gonna
worthy
get a
of
girl,
love.
get
Really?
a girlfriend.
Guys were saying this?
Yes, and that was the surprise as well for us. So it was surprise, but like you, it was a surprise, but it's like not really in a way, because then it made sense very quickly.
It's like,
Right, it's like,
you don't
of
think about
course.
it, but when you think about it,
When
go,
you think
yeah.
about it, it's quite obvious. It's on your face. It's like, why not? You know.
Yeah, and so, you know, I was happy to see so many men feeling safe to come to Amigas to talk about these things. And I think it all comes down to, it's so hard for anyone to figure out right now what is normal. What does a normal human look like? How does a normal human behave?
Yeah.
What's normal in
when
a
you
relationship?
come together?
Yes. What is normal? What is my role as a partner as well, as a
Yes.
man in the
Yeah.
like with the woman?
Oh, and also,
What is
do I need
you
to
know?
pay for everything? That
Yeah.
was another one.
Right.
You know,
or if
Well,
I
that's
don't,
cultural.
when do we
Yeah.
split the bills, or what does she expect us?
what? Yeah.
And it's also, you know, like it's about conversations and everything, but it's a huge confusion out there because we went through a transition in generations where the roles, I wouldn't say they have changed, they have evolved into a different format. I think men still provide security, but the security means money. No, men really provide a beautiful space
Container.
for people. Like,
Yeah.
but even like the energy alone, right? Like, you know, it's fun. We love men, and like
Beautiful.
like you said, it's so pro man, and we love to see love in the world. We love that.
We are radical relationship advocates.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that.
And we basically what the Amigas is trying to create the world we want to live in, where people are in love, that they have healthy relationships. They also love themselves, and they're safe to talk to people.
That's beautiful. I feel like you guys are, you know, part of the conversation that I'm kind of wanting to be part of as well, which is not necessarily what is normal, but it's almost like what's happening.
Yeah.
know?
Let's understand.
We're figuring this out together.
Yes, we are.
The dynamics have changed. You know, I think it's interesting that you say they've changed, but they haven't. You know,
No.
we're still there's still undercurrent of a lot of the same things, but the format has changed somewhat. Like the traditional relationships or marriage, it still exists, but it's not what everyone does. And there's all these, I think it's great that you have all these varied people, amigas that people can ask different questions, like for guys feeling like maybe I want to be polyamorous,
Absolutely,
or maybe
that's
I want to
another
be,
one.
you know, like
That was the number one question.
Well,
actually.
funnily
Really?
enough,
Well, in terms of
the entry,
yes.
So when we were building our wait list, we wanted to just ask a quick questions when people came on board, and one of the questions was what's the number one topic that brings you to Amigas? And we had about 10 on there, and 80% of people selected this one. Help me figure out what kind of relationship I want. So really back to basics. And I think this speaks to, talking about evolving gender roles, talking about things have changed. There's a lot of, we're here again, internet information, right? We're hearing all this stuff about all the options that are available.
We have all the options.
I think there's been a lack of spaces for people, and possibly especially men, to come and talk, not get told what to do, not get told, well, you're a man, so therefore
this
is the one option that you get, is to have a space to go, well, hang on a minute, who am I? What do I want? What kind of relationship what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be a father? Do I want to be a husband? Do I want to be whatever?
Do you want to date, men and women?
There are different things for you to explore, but the only right relationship for you is going to be the one that's for you by design. And I think, if we can just do one thing at Amigas, if it's just to hold space for people to come and figure out, well, how do I want to love and be loved, then I'll be very proud of what we did.
Yes.
Because, I think you can do there's so many different relationships you can do, but it has to feel right for you.
Yeah, that's a huge topic. It's incredible that you guys are touching on that, because I even myself have had confusion, I don't know, there's so much, people have very strong opinions.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you get around somebody who has a very strong opinion, you start to think I'm figuring it out, so I don't have such a strong position necessarily. Yeah. So when I'm around somebody who does, I start to think, well, maybe they're right.
Wrong? And they're
Am
right.
I wrong? But it doesn't quite feel right for me. So I think, for me, this is like a question that I'm still answering myself.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think it's a process, right? And the more information, the more you can talk about it, the more you get closer to what you want. But it's an evolving question for everyone.
Yes.
It's what do I want? Even on a traditional sense, what kind of partner do I want? How am I going to be happy? And then do I want a family? Or do I even want a partner? And
what you want can change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
What you want can change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think it is a really interesting time for everyone, right? Because if you think about the scope of human history, is quite a short window in which we've had the freedom of choice to choose any of these alternative options.
Yes.
But I think especially for men, and many men told us their frustration at the gap of information they were saying, if I'm a guy, I basically have two options: pickup artist or sort of
married
bored husband. It's I can find two sources of really strong information: pickup artist stuff and divorce stuff. But what happens in the middle? Where are all the books for
good
for
relationship?
A guy, this is the thing about Amigas. The guys who come to Amigas, they're all they mostly value meaningful relationships. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them are looking for long-term relationships or to maintain.
Majority.
And they're I want to be the best partner I can be. I want to be a great guy. I'm doing good. I want to be great. I want to be a legendary lover. I want to really make this area of life something I'm proud of and a focus.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting talking to so many men, and to have them to feel this loss they feel of if I want to prioritize this area of my life, like love and relationships, I can't even go to a bookstore and like see more than like one book about this for guys. Whereas, you know,
For
as women,
women,
you go and there's like 3 aisles in the bookstore all about relationships and love and dating and being
how
the best
to be the
wife
best
and blah,
wife,
blah, blah.
best girlfriend,
You know,
best.
As if this is not
everything.
something that men are interested in, and that's, we know from all the research we've done and all the men,
It's not
it's
true.
not true.
It's a
It's
lack
just-
of resources
Yeah.
out there.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there's the typical. I feel like there has been stereotypical man in the past who's, you know, stoic and doesn't, you know, is not in touch with his feelings, and he's, you know, doesn't research. He just works or whatever. I don't know. That's kind of a stereotype, but
Yeah.
I feel like these days that's getting cracked wide open, and more men are searching, but I feel like before they actually weren't. Like when I first came into my spiritual journey like 7 years ago, and I think it's still the same now. Like if I go to yoga retreats and tantra retreats and even like meditation retreats, it's like 70% women.
That's true.
Like it's mostly women, so they do seek more, but I think it's changing. And I hope it changes more, you know. I hope guys really do, because they're holding even though they're not,
You're
you know,
absolutely right.
doing the work, they're holding onto a bunch of stuff that is eating them up inside.
Yeah.
And causing damage in their relationships and causing disconnect from, you know, the people that they care about and love. So it's hurting them, but they're just like stuffing it down. So yeah, I hope more and more men do, you know, take up the torch and do the work that they need to.
Well, I want to honor you first, because I think a
that's-
big part of it is role models, right? You know, and there's people, you know, there's guys like you who, yeah, you were the ones who showed up to the yoga class, the meditation retreat, the tantra class when you were the only guy in the room. And you were like, well, this is...
I'm okay with being in the room with a bunch of women, by the way.
Don't come around.
It was not a sacrifice.
But then, you know, you're here now, you're talking about it, and, you know, imagining
Normalizing
sharing, like, that benefited me. I enjoyed that. I got something out of it. And I think, you know, that's important too, where then other guys can go, oh, okay, that's a thing that we're allowed to do. Because I do think that can play a really big role, is this men's social conditioning about what behavior is allowed for men and what's not allowed. And, you know, yes, I do see women do police each other and self-police, but that mechanism amongst men of like, if you're a man, you're not allowed to do that. And it's not even questioned often. It's just like a blank. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay. And I think that, you know, I love to see that being shattered and stretched and challenged, right? I think that's what we're all here for, right?
Yeah.
That's how we get free of gender norms in all directions. As we go, hang on, is that true? What have I tried? Or who else can I find who's challenging that, and how's it going for them?
Yeah.
I had a question that came up, just going back a little bit, so you're saying most of the guys who come to your channel are looking for a relationship. They want to find the one for them, but maybe they haven't found her yet, or they have usually.
They have there's different themes. So the guys that comes to us and asking how they can even, you know, understand and what the options they have around love. When they have like one option they can think of, they think, I want to be the best partner I can be. You know, so if we ask on a closed survey, what ideally you're looking for, I think 80% said long-term relationships, right? But
yeah, and also we're talking about we're talking about small pilot. We're talking about, you know, about 150 people overall. So this is a very small sample. We probably have about 80% single, 20% in a relationship.
Okay.
But as we grow, I don't know how that will
80%
shake.
single, 20% in a relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that might shake
But
out
we
differently.
also advertised for single because
Yeah.
we thought we can help, starting to help the ones that are hurting the most. So obviously, like, I think it was a combination of need and what we could supply,
Well,
right?
you said something about like wanting to help lonely men.
Yes. So there are two missions for Amigas in terms of global mission. And one is to close the gender gap, which is a big issue for us. And the second one is the epidemic of male loneliness, which is not talked about enough. And when it's talked about, we often ask, what can we do about it, and not many people have many answers. So my answer is like become an amiga, and if you're lonely, come and talk to us. So at least like for us, we feel very proud that we are able to come into this space with something we believe is worth it. Yeah, that has legs and actually helps. Actually, reading all of the reviews from the pilot makes us cry, because there were guys there saying, never thought a woman would really listen to me and be so kind to me. Like, we got reviews like that, like 3-sentence review that it make one cry. And what I want to say for people that are feeling lonely, for men that are feeling lonely, is like, you're feeling lonely, but there are people that really care about you. Like, we really care, and don't think that these people don't exist, because they do. And they're trying to find you. So just please hold on, that we will find you, and there is love out there, and there's friendship, and whatever happened doesn't need to happen again, and like that's
great. I think it's the platform that you guys are putting together is super important, because I can imagine guys wanting that but not knowing where to find it.
Yes.
So the fact that you're facilitating that is huge. I can't wait to play around with it once you guys have it up and running, because I definitely
third
want
pilot
Next
coming
try.
up
Yeah,
soon.
You got
Yes.
first test person on your new pilot.
And as we are very early as well, I want to make sure that we're building this for you, right? For Amigas and for men, that so we're very open to listen to needs, concerns, to anything, because we're building this together. It's not Cynthia and Imogen show. It's lots of women that care. We're just talking from all of us, and we want to put this together in the best way that helps men and the future partners as well, right? And bring more love into the world. So
Beautiful.
like, yeah.
And just to close out, like, how can people find you? Like, how can guys find you? I know right now your app is not up and running, but maybe they can follow you somewhere, or
Yes.
So
We'll have our website.
amigas.app is our website, and you can also find the handles Amigas app on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, possibly Facebook too.
Yes.
And yeah, if you're interested in any capacity, join our waitlist. We have a waitlist
on
for
the website.
Beta testers and early customers, and we also have a waitlist for Amigas. So if you're listening to this and you are interested in becoming an Amiga, then I invite you to come and apply as well.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you
being here
so
today.
much.
It's been amazing. I
It's
feel like
so
we
good
could have
talking
gone
to
for
you,
the
Adam.
hour and a half or
Yes,
2 hours.
definitely.
But, yeah, that was perfect. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Adam.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Mhm.